What's up? It's Greggatron. How's everybody doing? I'm just showing off some more drawings because the spirit of art has hit me. So this is a drawing I made it's a replica of Nightfall from Batman. It's a graphic novel from like the 90s. It's the story of when Bane breaks Batman's back, and it's always been one of my all-time favorite storylines. Batman has always had the best stories. Don't get it twisted. I love Batman storylines, man. So let's start up top, shall we? So this is just the nicest, cleanest shading job I've probably ever done. Ever! Alright, everything from the cape on the inside with the contrast to the cape on the outside. This is probably my favorite part, the shoulder padding. I mean, this I can talk about for hours. I really love this Batman's gear, the pockets, the belt on the leg, the claws. So for those who don't know, this is not Bruce Wayne. Alright, let's go back in time. So Bane, this guy, y'all know Bane. Bane let a bunch of criminals out of jail. I think it was Arkham or Blackgate, one of them. I think it was Blackgate. So all these criminals are running on the loose, and Batman and Robin have to round them all up non-stop. Night after night after night after night after night, Batman and Robin are rounding these bad guys up. And Batman's exhausted, man. Batman is exhausted. So Bane took advantage of that moment because, Bane's a thinker. Bane took full advantage, and he planned all this to fight Batman when he was exhausted. So he used his weakness and just went to town on Batman. This is the scene where Bane breaks Batman's back. Alright. And they actually used that in The Dark Knight Rises. So that's why on the cover of one of the Nightfall books, I think this was the cover of book number 2. But on the cover, you see Bane ripping the cowl. Well, now that Bruce Wayne was out of commission, they needed someone else. So this is Jean Paul Valley. I call him Jean Paul, but I think it's pronounced Jean Paul Valley. For those who don't know, that's the guy who was Azrael, or Azrael. And he's a friend of Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. And he's a very interesting character. He's like religious. He's like in a cult. And he hears voices and all this stuff. What was it? Saint Dumas. I think Saint Dumas was the name of the group he came from, which was like cultish. Something like that. Anyway, Jean Paul Valley takes down Bane. He was very violent. He was a very violent Batman. Well, after he takes down Bane, he continues to be Batman, and Bruce Wayne doesn't approve of it. His methods. Well, Jean Paul is like, yo, I'm Batman. Well, after Bruce Wayne gets better, after he recuperates, he's like, I'm going to need that suit because you ain't Batman. Well, he's like, this is my suit because he made his own version. Well, Batman's like, you can't be Batman, period, because I'm back. Well, Jean Paul is like, there can only be one Batman, right? So they fight it out. It's so ironic because Bane defeated Bruce Wayne, and then Jean Paul defeated Bane, and then Bruce came back and had to defeat Jean Paul to reclaim the mantle. I love that story. And I remember Dick Grayson was Nightwing, I think. And even Nightwing got his butt whooped by Jean Paul. He was all bloody and stuff. This is one of my favorite Batman stories. This and probably The Dark Knight Returns. That and Mask of the Phantasm, the movie. So yeah, I had to draw this. Excuse me. Alright, next. My friend from high school, she drew this. She was just at my house one day and she's like, I want to draw something. It's actually pretty good. Pretty good. There's her name, Leah. Shout out to my friend Leah. That was my girl. Next, I got Storm here from X-Men. Let's get in focus here. There we go. So Storm is probably my fourth favorite X-Men. The first three being Beast, Cyclops, and Colossus. But Storm, you can't go wrong with Storm. I love this character, man. Always brought beauty. And her abilities were just crazy. Being someone who can control the weather witch, whatever you want to call her. But what I like about this drawing the most, so Storm is black, but wherever the lightning hits her, it's all light. So it looks white around her where the lightning is. See her legs. That's dope. Like, I nailed that. And this originally was for a friend of mine. Because I was in college, waiting on my class to start. I was drawing. And my friend sees me drawing that Batman picture. And she's like, you draw? I didn't know you draw. I was like, oh yeah, I draw. She's like, that's good. Can you draw me Storm? I was like, yeah, I can draw a Storm for you. So I went online and looked for some images of Storm. And this is the best one I could find. And I nailed it, if I say so myself. I also like the sparkling areas, like how she has diamonds by her hands, and the X on her chest probably stands out the most. Also, she's got the good earrings. This picture you can find on the internet, not the one I drew, but the one that I drew this from. The main difference is this version I drew is a little bit taller than the one I had printed out initially. But yeah, one thing about Storm, she always knew how to dress. And I like how I had the clouds surrounding her. I was taught in school, in high school, not to have a bunch of negative space, meaning space that's not being used up. So like find a way to fill up the background with whether it be buildings or trees or whatever. Yeah, man. And I like her boot too. Between this and that Batman one, classic. And it took me a while to mess around with all this electricity. All the lightning is just crazy here. Crazy. But it was fun. And then she's got all that good long hair. Yeah, Storm was that woman That was the girl. All right, next. This is a Venom drawing that I had started on, but never finished. The tongue is supposed to be going like way out here. It's all good. The main event. This, I got the inspiration from myself and my friend, who we both love Venom. I was Venom one Halloween, and she saw my mask, and she's like, "Where'd you get that?" I told her from the mall or something, and she's like, "Oh, I want one." So either I got her one or she got her own. I can't remember. But we would be Venom and Lady Venom, or She Venom. So this represented us, right? I got this card here, so you can't see my last name. I'm not getting doxxed. As you can see, I'm into musculature, so that's why I look super duper buff. And she was very curvy. She had big boobs and a big old butt. So this picture represents her. Shout out to my friend. And she always wore heels. So that's why this Venom picture has heels. One thing I noticed, though, a mistake I made, my proportions are like all jacked up. But I was a young man. It's all good. And then the symbiote has hairs like tendrils. What I like most about this is probably the distinction between the black and the white. You know, the white spiders. And the shading on here is pretty good. But the separation between the black and white. Look at my six-pack. See, I was thinking about using this picture for my default pic on YouTube. But I think I could do better. And then later, my friend, he drew the one that you see now. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And it wasn't even for YouTube, but that's just what I used it for. Also, I got some webbing shooting out. The webbing I kind of took from a comic book. That's how it looks. Yep. I used to draw Venom a lot. Like a lot. Got veins everywhere. Yeah, man. And this is from 2015, so 10 years ago. Can you believe it? So I was 22. Or no, I wasn't even 22 yet. I was still 21. This is January of 15. Or no, I would have been 22. Yeah. I would have turned 23 in August. Yep, so that's that. I want to know your thoughts. I really do like the hair. That's cool. This I made purely from scratch. That's why it doesn't look as on point as the other two, the Storm and the Batman. And look at all the saliva coming out this man's mouth. I saw in a comic book that Venom's saliva is actually like the way he takes number twos. So that's how the symbiote excretes its waste. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.